Hello and welcome to another episode of Fully Charged, and welcome to Berlin, where we're spending the day here at the EUREF. Now, initially those letters may have different connotations for us in the United Kingdom, but it's got nothing to do with leaving the EU. This is the European Energy Forum. It's an amazing campus in the middle of Berlin that's still under development, but they've done amazing things here already. This is a place where they study and develop different types of electric mobility, electric bikes that you rent, electric cars that you can plug in anywhere and they charge, and amazing stuff, incredible stuff about microgrids. And I don't even know. That's what I'm here to find out. Follow me.
The European Energy Forum was started in 2007 when a property company acquired a 5.5 hectare site in the centre of Berlin that was once the city gasworks. I met Benjamin Melcher, who is part of the team responsible for running the campus, and he's been explaining the success they've had in making a sustainable district for businesses here at EUREF. Tenants wanted green energy to run the buildings, but they didn't want to pay more than normal. EUREF have installed enough renewables and a biogas heating and power unit and reached their zero carbon goal back in 2016.
So what the government has set for Germany to reach by 2050, you've already achieved.
Yeah, they said you have to have numbers, you have to reach them, and these has to be carbon neutral.
Right.
So this is what we're doing here. We have here a decentralized power plant, and this power plant is driven by biogas, and we're reaching the equal price as normal heating and cooling from other companies.
Right.
You know, working with your neighbor, and know your neighbor is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, to say, hi Robert, nice to meet you. You know, we earned some money together. This is fun.
Yes.
Yeah. In our real estate development, we have here 165,000 square meters, and we already have done 65. So we're in the middle of our project so far.
So there's a lot more to come. There's a lot more expansion. I mean, because I think that's the real crucial point, is that you're supplying what any building developer could supply to their tenants, which is, you know, safe, warm or cool, well lit, you know, and it would generally be powered by fossil fuels coming in from it. Well, you wouldn't even ask, you wouldn't even think about it. It's just normal. And what you've done is exactly the same for the same money, but with a completely different power infrastructure, which is really important. You know, that it's economic. It makes economic sense.
If people are changing small things, then
but if a lot of people are changing small things, it's a big thing. No, that's fantastic.
We then met Roman Krentz from Schneider Electric, who have a massive office and a research centre at EUREF. He showed me how the microgrid on the campus operated.
So with this then, we can see how the microgrid works here on the campus.
Right, so the campus here right now we have in operation, in service as a micro smart grid.
Right. So at the moment we can see that the photovoltaics, the solar, is giving 11 kilowatts. Yeah. And then the storage, does that imply that there's 88% of the battery is
it's charged.
It's charged 88%.
So we can go here deeper.
Oh, so you can go deeper into
the system. So here you see another overview of the supply and demand side.
Right.
So right now we see we don't have any demand.
Right.
Typically we would charge the battery right now, but you saw before that the battery is also already at 88%, so it wouldn't make sense to charge it way more.
Right. These are the car chargers. At the moment, no one is charging on those.
Right now. So that's the overview of the charging stations, and when we can also go deeper and see where the cars are staying.
Right. So that's what that implies. There's a vehicle there. So these ones are vacant. These spaces.
These are free. So in the whole we have 36 charging points here, and also some inductive plates. We want to make sure that the energy we produce here on the campus is also used by filling up the cars, or by used by other buildings here on the campus. So we don't even goes into the upper grid.
Right. So all these things, though, I mean, in time, you could have far more batteries, for instance. You've got the room, presumably, for more solar.
Yeah, everything is scalable at this
Right,
system.
right,
So
yeah.
you can have more battery systems. So we have 2 battery systems in this
Right.
case. Just to give you also an overview of the PV production, you see, for example, here curves which showing the PV production in total of different PV stations here on the campus.
Wow. But then the microgrid itself could deal with, if you could expand enormously the amount of solar you put on here, or a big wind turbine, you could easily integrate that into the system.
This is really an overview of what the system tracks.
So you're trying to balance. So what the solar's producing, you try and make sure that the car is consuming that, but not more than, or less than, I suppose.
And the next step is the proactive intelligence.
Right.
So the smart grid we have here, we have also in a smaller version at the race station Südkreuz. We are connected to them.
So that's another microgrid over there.
Another microgrid, which is a bit smaller,
Yeah.
has not so many production sites. So you see an overview about
this
the race
is the
station.
The railway station.
You have here, for example, the e-bus, the inductive charging e-bus. You have a little PV station. You have a battery system.
And there's a battery system within that unit there,
it's
right?
there here in behind the store.
So and then all the car chargers in the car park. Yeah.
And it works like this system here. And we can also just give a reset control from here, and we don't need to drive there.
Fantastic. Wow, very good. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So this table we have here as a simulation table. We can show the people here or the visitors how a microsmart grid really works. So in the past we had like energy production by coal, we had energy production by gas, and more we're getting production by wind, by sun. Furthermore, we have still the demand by households and industry.
Right.
And what we do in a microsmart grid is we put our microsmart grid controller here, and the microsmart grid controller catches up the flows in our microsmart grid and knows where the energy comes from and where it goes. And so we only have an exchange with the upper grid if it's really needed.
Yes.
So, for example, we can have here scenarios that we go maybe 10 years further, and the production here maybe rises because we have more sun or more wind, and the microgrid itself, microsmart grid itself, will just keeping the energy inside and not getting enough more energy from.
So I'm just trying to work that out. So what we saw change then was that far less was coming from here and here. Yeah. And far more was being from solar and from wind.
Yes. So when you're getting your energy from your supplier, you don't really know that it is green. Maybe he sells you that it's green, but it's not really green.
Yeah.
It can be here brown like it's shown.
Yes.
In case of this case, we know that it's green because we track every production site and every demand site. So we can show people what is a microsmart grid. The next step is that we have not only one microsmart grid, but maybe we have 2 microsmart grids. So we have here sun and wind together maybe, and another microsmart grid, and you will have an exchange between these 2 microsmart grids at the end.
Wow, how cool is that?
And well, you get also someday storage.
Yeah.
And can use it in your microsmart grid.
So that's filling up.
Yeah, it's filling up,
and
and
becomes a supply.
Maybe we have a cloudy day or less wind.
Yeah.
So the energy comes in the end it would spit too much, but in the end it comes from the storage system.
Right.
And when you put the car maybe here inside,
the
car would be also filled. But when it's full and you need maybe energy. So you see the car
it's
getting
gradually
forward,
filling,
and maybe later I just get a bit more sun, a bit mid-wind, so we see it fills.
It fills up. Wow.
And later the energy goes back.
Energy goes back. So that's
if it's needed.
Yes. Yes.
So that's the idea of a microsmart grid.
Right, but that's a really clear visual demonstration of how these, because it's very hard to understand when you're not used to, you're used to kind of understanding how energy works. And this gives a very clear picture of how that's all moved around, particularly with renewables, with storage, with cars. It's
For sure.
fantastic. Yeah, brilliant. This was just a taste of what we saw at the EUREF campus. In the next episode, we'll look at a simple solution to charging electric cars on streets and a brilliant electric scooter scheme in Berlin.